Hey, welcome back to another episode of what we're doing today. And yeah, I've just, you might have seen I've uploaded and finished this little EDC just with a paracord handle and all the rest of it. And yeah, I found this little piece of spring steel there and couldn't remember what I was doing with it. But anyway, fashioned it into this little knife that I've made here. I was thinking of putting a PVC sheath on it, but yeah, looking at it, I quite like it. Like I said, didn't know to start with, but yeah, like the shape, feels good in the hand and all the rest of it. So what I think I'm going to do is put it in a leather sheath, give it something nice. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Made up my mind, made a D. So I'm going to fashion it after this 4-inch bushcraft, as you can see, with the old cross carry. As so, I've made a few of these in the past. So I've got out all my leather working gear, which is very minimal. And yeah, I am a beginner, as it were. And so I need a bit more practice. So here we go. We're going to give it a go with that. I'm not going to make it a taco. I think they call those taco. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make it 2 sides. And you'll see as that goes on. So yeah, give it my best shot. Try and up my game a little bit. Make something as nice as I can. So yeah, without any more jibber jabber, let's get stuck into it. So like I said, my gear's pretty minimal, but I've got a little bit of off-cut of leather that I bought, so I've got a little bit left, so that's what I'm going to use there. Got the head knife, or half head knife that I made, going to use that. Got another couple of cutters there if I need them. I may do this here, this basket weave border, so for that I've got this little tool here, which I bought. Should have bought a bigger one, because the eyeballs aren't what they used to be, and it's really hard to see. Got some 13mm, I think they are snaps. I could be wrong on that. It might be a bit smaller. Yeah, I've got those. No idea what that's for. Get rid of it at the minute. And I've got some letter stamps. You might see me using that as well. Other tools you'll see me using is naturally a mallet that I made. But that's another point. Get in here. Too much arm in the shot, no doubt. I've got this little groover. It's getting a bit blunt, but it still works. So I'll be using that. Something else that I've got, I think it's called burnishing. I could be wrong on that too. Like I say, I'm a complete beginner. I'm not a complete beginner. I've made a few sheaths, but not a lot. So I've got a little burnishing thing I made there. And I've got this little beveler that go on the end. And apart from that, a few other miscellaneous tools. And then I'll be stitching it up with the old speed stitcher. And these forks, you can see that through the bag, but you'll see when I'm going through using it, just getting the spacing on my stitching. So like I said, if you're a beginner like me, you can actually do it with minimal tools. What I'll do is give it a go. With a lot of things I do, I have to make most of what I need because I can't afford to buy it, and there's no point outlaying a big expense if I'm not going to be any good at it or I don't enjoy doing it. But as I go, I'll improve. And I'm quite enjoying the leatherwork, complete contrast to what I'm used to doing, which is steel. And as I go, I'll update my tools and all the rest of it. But yeah, just a little bit of a journal here, what I do. I quite like that blade, like I say, so I'm going to put it in some leather. And that'll be that. I've run out of dye, run out of quite a few things, but never mind. So again, without any more jibber jabber, which I said we wouldn't be any, but there was. So we'll get stuck into it, start making a pattern, and away we go. So yeah, it's turned into a bit of a mess. It's only the start of the build and I've got a bit of chaos, but never mind. It is what it is, we'll work around that. So what I like to do first, like I said, I'm fashioning after that, get rid of that. Put that back there, doesn't matter, get rid of my pointer. Basket weave. So what I like to do is make a pattern, yeah. For the old bushcraft, I can pretty much use the same pattern now because they all sort of turn out the same, but this knife I just, well, literally made it up as I went along. Didn't know what I was going to do with it. So I'll lay that out there. If you can see that, it's a blue pen on blue paper. And just trace around that.
Yeah, there we go. I'll trace around there. Must, yeah. Get the shape.
And then what I'll do is I'll extend it out here. What I'll also do is I'll grab a ruler. And that's the basic shape of the knife. And what I'll do, I'll allow 15mm. You might have seen all that on the making a sheath for the old Mark 1 Hunter. I'll allow 15mm, which is probably too much, but due to my skill, I tend to get things a little wrong sometimes. Well, not wrong, but I just cut the tolerances a little bit too fine. So I don't want to do that this time. So I'll allow 15mm, and I can always trim it back later, yeah? Because I need to put the piece in there which stops the knife when it goes in, when it's sharp, from cutting the stitches. So 15mm is probably a little bit too much, like I said. When I fold them over, like I think it's called the taco style, then a lot of it's taken up. So you don't quite get 15mm, but I haven't done a little one like this style, only big ones. So yeah, we'll give this a lash. I could do a taco on this, but I haven't got a tool for grooving out the centre, so when it folds over you get quite a bit of bulk, and I don't really want that on this one. So I'll get this done, 15mm. Said that 1,000 times, doesn't matter. One thing you should do, which was suggested on a video that I did watch by a professional leather maker or whatever, he did make some pretty awesome gear, is what I should be doing is writing a list of the different steps that I should do, because quite often it's very easy to get a little bit excited, go a little bit fast, and miss something pretty important. Once you start gluing this together, you can't really take it apart and redo it. Oh, I dropped the pen. So that's a pretty good idea in my opinion, but I don't know why I'm not going to do it, but I'm not. Just food for thought, yeah. So there's my basic pattern. It's looking horrendously big at the minute, but when you put them together, they tend to come out a little, yeah, bit different. Oh, what is wrong with these scissors? I know what's wrong with them. I was etching a maker's mark, and I got a bit of salt and vinegar on them and started to rust, so I put some CRC on them. Never mind, we'll work around it. Let's cut this out. Now you might have noted that I've got quite a way up here. I'm not going to go that far. I'm just going to give it a measure. I'm not going to put a clip anything to clip this on. I'm just going to, what am I saying? I'm just going to make it fit in, a lot of sort of a push fit. Yep. I'm going to put a belt loop cross carry type thing on it. Yeah, I'm just going to make it, yeah, do that. So I'm going to go to about there, just roughly sort of thing, thinking. And I'm going to go to about there, so I can get my finger in and just pull it out, yeah, or whatever. That's the theory anyway. So we'll give that a lash. We'll go straight across there for now. Okay, dab under there, and we'll curve it up. Something like that. Look at that. Oh, that's a bit horrible. These are offcuts of leather, not particularly cheap to be fair. Yeah, usually you get a lot better than this, but yeah, it is what it is. I've just got to make do. So I'm trying to pick out the bits that I can use without wasting too much. Drop the box. Oh no, yeah, they're going everywhere. Who cares? So there we go. Actually, if I trim that off and cut that back, that'll probably work for me, that one. So that's good. What about this one? Let's have a look. No, yeah, I'll probably get that out of there too. So they're my two bits. No idea why they stick these stickers on, but they're a real pain to get off. Well, they stick them on for what they got to do, but you might. Done. So I'm not actually going to trim that right now, having to think about it. What I'm going to do is just take as much out of these little offcuts as I can, and then I'll trim that up after the fact, And one really important note to keep in mind here, and if you're not like me and you don't do it, then fast forward, no worry about it. I don't know how many times, because this isn't folding over, you're going to have a left and a right, yeah, when you do it at the leather. So I don't know how many times I've made 2 lefts or 2 rights. So just something to bear in mind, because that's going to have to fold over. So you end up getting, a bit wrong. So when that goes over, that's going to fold. It sounds pretty silly, and maybe I am pretty stupid, but I don't know. It just seems easy to do for me to get the wrong one. So just keep checking and keep checking. Most people, like I say, they probably don't have that problem, but I do. So done. So that'll go there like that, yes. That'll go there like that, hopefully, and the knife will sit in. Yep, all good. So now we'll cut those out, and we shall blaze on. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to cut this inside bit, cut that, and that's going to go onto here, yeah. So just do that. So I need to make some more bits out of that. So quite often, if you cut this out of a big enough piece, like you can see I'll cut that out of there. Of course I haven't got enough there to do it, but you'll get the essence of what I'm talking about. You can actually just move that in and cut around there, because there is, when you put a line on here, there's enough flexibility when you're gluing it to move that around, but I can't do that at this stage. The other thing that I would suggest doing, which I may do in this, I may not do, but if you're worried about getting any water in there, what I'll quite often do is just put a cut through here and leave a hole in the bottom so the water could run out if you ever got it in there. Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this time or not, but food for thought once again. What I'll do now is mark those in there, just for the fact that that'll give me a line to glue to. Yep. Again, it seems a bit wide on the whole deal, but I can always trim it up later. But I don't mind a bulky sheath. Oh, went a bit crooked there. So that's good. Happy with that. Right, now I need to mark out, find some enough for the centres. The other thing you want to be careful of too, because I said like these are offcuts, so they've got a few stains on there. If you really want to make it beautiful and all the rest, I would have picked that out. But due to the cost of the stuff, it'll just be a knife for me. They put a 12 on there and pen too. So this is just how this stuff came. So I'll make the best of what I got with it. Should still come up reasonable, hopefully. So I'm going to put a cut through there and leave a little hole in it. Leave a wee gap in there, just so any water gets in it can run out. Also, what it means I can do, so I don't have to use such a big piece of leather, and I won't have such an offcut. So a few points to note at this stage. I've got my line in there because that's the shape of the knife, yes. Because you know that I've got my inside piece here, a little wee gap in the end, and I've got this outside one that will go on there, and this will go on top, yeah. When it goes together and I push that in, that'll stretch her out a bit. So you want to keep these bits here. You want to keep to that line as good as you can. Err on the side of caution a little bit, because if you get that too tight, once that's glued together, that's extremely hard to get in there and groove that out a little bit. I've had that problem before, my inexperience. So just want to make sure that that gap is right, yeah? so it's not too tight. Once it expands because of the handle, when you wet it up and do whatever you got to do, there's not a lot of stretch and it's big stuff in my opinion. The other thing I've got to do is because I'm putting a belt loop similar to this on, I don't have enough room to go through the whole thing like that with these little snaps, so I have to put them in before, get in the picture, put those in there, and then I just sew around them on the back. So I sew from there to there, sew from there to there, and then sew up there. So they have to go in before I get too far down the track. The other thing I need to do is get my grooves, and what I'll tend to do is groove it up, put my border on. I don't know if I'm in the picture there actually, and get my border on, and I'll do all that before I start gluing it up, get that done. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. So yeah, just something to keep in mind, yeah. Because what I'll probably do too is I don't really need this going this far up. I'll probably start and trim that out. If you can see, I'll probably trim that a bit, give it a bit of clearance in here where the handle's going to go. So I'll come out to sort of like that, if you can see that. Okay, cool. What I also do is just groove the inside bits. I don't know if you need to or not, but that's just what I do. Oh, good mister. Not groove, bevel edge. Yeah, probably not a good idea, but I'll do it anyway. Another thing you do need to do, that side's quite rough and takes the glue pretty well. You probably already know this, but this side here I'll sand up before I glue them together. Just to make the surface a bit more receptive to the glue. The contact adhesive.
Cool, that's all good.
So what I'm doing now, I'm just going to, that edge is roughly cut out. I'm going to use a sandpaper and even it up so it's nice and even and smooth. I may trim that back, doesn't matter, but what I'm going to do is groove it. You can see here, I'm just getting a line for my basket weave to go around. But I want that to be smooth from the edge, and if I trim that back, it could be anywhere, so I'll just make that smoother. You could use a 2x72, but I'm not going to. Yeah, I need to know sort of how far up I'm going to go with it. And I'm thinking I'm going to cut that across like that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that. Pen's gone. There it is. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but again, it's similar to this one here. Just cut across like that. So we'll do that. And that one works good. Hopefully this one will be the same. Get the pen. Done. Just sort of randomly exactly where it's going to go. Rinse and repeat. And now I'm going to do my grooving. This, of course, is a right-handed tool. Oh, it didn't work, and I'm left-handed. To be fair, it's not an overly big space. I could, I probably won't, but I could basket weave the whole thing. If you've never done basket weaving before, what you do is put a line in it like this, and then you go either side, sort of overlapping them. But yeah, it's a lot of work, and it's not really necessary because it won't show up. Because it's small anyway, it probably won't show up much. So what I will use it for is putting that border in. But disappointed about that stain, but that's what you get with offcuts of leather, I guess. You probably can't see that, but yeah, I'll just go down in there like that and bang it around. But before I do that, I'll wet it. I've got my little water bottle here. So yeah, there's the basket we've done, and you might have just seen a bit of a fast forward. You probably didn't hear anything. In fact, I'd guarantee you didn't hear anything because the audio didn't work. So yeah, sorry about that, but you do have a few issues with the old camera at times, but never mind, we're working on it. So yeah, it's staying there, not too happy with that. You will note, if you can see in there close enough, one or two, like I've said in other videos, fingernail marks. You've got to be really careful when it's wet because it's real soft and it'll mark, and it's impossible to get those out. Gone off track there a little bit because I can't see. 40 years of welder, the ravages of time have taken its toll on my eyeballs. So I got my little magnifying lenses and got that one's not too bad. That one, of course, if I was trying to sell it or something like that for someone else, I'd throw that out and start again. But it's just for me, so I'm happy with that. There's a multitude of tools you can use for doing borders, but that's the only one I've got, so that's what I use. So there it is from there. So what I've done now is I've done those, so I'm happy with that. I've got to find where I'm going to put my little snaps. I've lost half of the stuff that I had, but there it is. So what I'm going to do, like I said, going to do that system there. It's going to be quite tight because that's just the way I want it. I want this as sort of, I'm not worried about it being bulky, but I don't want it too big, if you know what I mean. So I've got those. So I've got to get my snaps in, figure out where this is going to go, flip it over, whatever you want to call it. I've sanded this side, like I said, to make it a little bit more receptive to the glue. And then I'm going to just use the old contact adhesive and glue those in. And that's what we're up to. And then we'll stitch her up and Bob's your uncle. Of course, before I glue anything on or do too much more, I just want to bevel that edge there. You can see it. Just do that because I won't be able to get it there once it's stuck together. I will be able to, but it'll be difficult to do, quite hard. So I'll be doing that. These bits here, you might note, will be sticking out the end. So I'll trim those off once it's together, and that'll be fine. Yeah, you just got to think ahead, if you know what I mean. Don't want to miss any steps because, yeah, you just don't. So that's cool. So for the snaps, if I can get that focused enough, that'll be coming over this loop thing, like that one there. So they need to go on that side for what I do, being left-handed carry. I may trim this edge up here a little bit. So I just position my snaps where they've sort of got to go. Well, exactly where they've got to go. And then I'll put this little, sometimes they call it an awl, I don't know what it's called. This is actually just a tungsten, but I'll stick that in there. That'll be good. Oh, finger's not working. There we go. Get that one in the right place. Methinks. Nice. Then I'll stick some snaps on there, and when I've got that sewn up and folded over, I'll put those snaps in. So that'll work. That looks good to me. Rightio, so now it's glue up time. another thing you need to be very careful with here is if you get that glue where you don't want it, it goes off, it'll stain it too and you won't be able to get rid of it. But this is getting a bit rough. Never mind, doing my best. Like I said, I'm only a beginner. I'm struggling. No, I'm not. I'm not struggling. Yeah, rushing a bit to be fair. But it'll be good. I'm happy with it. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah, just be careful. I'll usually put this on, go and wash my hands and then come back. You probably know more than me about putting on this contact adhesive. This one here is a water-based one. But I found it works pretty well for me. It's an ADOS. So you put it on there, you let it set a bit, and you stick it together. I haven't glued up there because I will sew that, but it just allows a little bit of movement in case I've got it too tight. That's the theory anyway. Actually, no, I will put glue on there. Try it again. Bit of a fail. So a wee bit of blundering, a wee bit of hesitation, and hopefully a wee bit of getting it right. That should be good enough. So we'll get that onto there. Stick that down. We'll get the mark right. Once this gets down, this ain't going nowhere. Good enough. Just test the knife again. There is. Yep, that'll be good. Right, that should be good. Now we'll do the other side. Oh, a few marks, stains. Never mind, it's all good. We mustn't grumble. Right, so that's good. Gone off good enough. I'll just try and line it up as best as I can. From there, what we'll do, we'll let it set properly and do some editing, so forth and so on. Oh no, and let me have a look. Yep, we'll let that get on there. Go and clean my hands, do some editing, and we'll take it, trim it up, go to the 2x72 and do what we've got to do with that. What you also don't want is marks on your mallet, because that will transfer onto your job. Cool, that should do the job. Oh, a bit messy, but a bit rough around the edges, like I say, but I am a beginner. No excuses. But there we go. We'll come back to that for the next stage. See you then. So if you're still watching, thanks, and you would have just seen me clean that up on the 2x72. What I'm doing now is taking the belt loop thing. I'm just trimming that up, make it look nice, as it were. Not sure how I'm going to sew it yet, but I'll get there. Just do the old edge beveling on both sides. Done the other side already. Oh, a bit ratty on this old offcut stuff. Anyway, don't normally do that, but never mind. Blend that in. Clean that up. Then we'll give it a bit of a burnish. Try not to cut the fingers off. So what I do for that, I'll just give it a slight wet, not much, like that. Get the old tool that I made up, get rid of that. Just give it a rub. Try and, I don't know what it does, but you can get waxes and stuff for doing this, but I haven't got any. This will do. That makes it a bit shinier. This stuff's a bit soft. I don't know where it came out of the hide or what happened, but that's what it is. Then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clean up the edges on this. Oh, come on. Same thing here, I'll give it a wet, give it a bit of a, not sure what they call it, I think it's burnish. Could be anything really.
Outside.
Video could end up being quite long, but it is what it is. So that side's going to go on there. That's going to fold over going onto there. So what I'm going to do now is I can do this little piece last. I'm going to put a border on that, similar to this one here. As you can see, a groove. So let's do it. What I also want to do is put my maker's mark on. So it wants to go around about there, so just keep that in my mind. This needs to be wet, not soaking wet, but wet it up all the same. So the old, completely lost everything. There it is. So if you can see that in the video, that's the old maker's mark putting on there. I might do a close-up here. See, there it is, maker's mark put on there. So yeah, not too bad, happy with that. So from here, we're nearly there. Like I probably said, I didn't say, could be a long video, but we're nearly there. So we'll zoom back out and we'll have a look at what we've got to do. So from here, what we've got to do, I'm just going to test it. Yep, I'm going to wet form this naturally. But yeah, so far so good. That goes in there, that'll be good. A little bit bulky, but yeah, it's all good. That'll be nice. So I'm happy with that. I could refine that down, but I'm not going to bother. So what I'm going to do now is just groove around here, stitch it up, stitch this on and put those snaps in. I might put some beeswax on it. I might not. And yeah, that'll be that. So get my grooving tool set. It's a little bit harder to get it here now. I sort of want to go in between that. So yeah, we'll do that. Naturally, you can't sew through these little snaps, and I'll only groove one side because I tend to, you've got to keep it flat when you drill it. All these will come out pretty random. So what I'll do, I'll drill it through and then I'll groove the other side and match up the holes. Some people punch them right through. I don't tend to do that. That's probably another lack of skill thing, but I don't, so this is what it is. I will use these forks, as you can see, just to get my spacings. I'll drill it from the side, and then I will, what am I saying? Then I'll come back and stitch her up, yeah. Another thing I didn't mention is when I put this belt loop thing on, I actually glue it as well. So what I'm going to do is put that onto there. This time I've got it the other way. Usually I do it the other way or something like that, I don't remember. But anyway, I've got it going this way. So I glue it on and then I'll be able to drill from that side, get those holes. Those have come up not too bad. Grooved them in, not too bad. I've had worse, but yeah, not bad, all said and done. So definitely glue that one on there. I've tried before just sewing it and it'll be real loose and come off and all the rest of it. So that's what's going to happen with that. So from here, what we're going to do is crack out the old speed stitcher and give it a stitch up and put those snaps in the end and it'll be job done. So thanks for hanging around again. I know it's getting a bit long, but it is what it is. There's a lot of work on one of these things, even for someone like me who doesn't know what they're doing. So anyway, we'll get this finished off, hopefully, do an outro, and that'll be that. So here we go, it's speed stitch time, and saddle stitch with 2 needles would probably be a better way to go, but like I said in my last video when I did this, this is all I got. I had it for a long time, so this is what I do. So I'll sew to that bit there. I can get that right, and yeah, away we go. Bit of fast forward, a bit of whatever else, and off we go. Rightio, that's the last stitch. So finally got to the end of it. When I get to there, I'll go back 2 or 3 stitches just to overlap them. Then I'll singe the ends off, and yeah, that'll be job done. I'm not going to put beeswax on this for the fact that I don't really need it for what I'm going to do with it. I'm just going to spray it with some waterproof stuff. I think I've got some saddle soap or whatever they call it, and I'll just put that on. That should be good to go. So I'll just get these back stitches done, and then that'll pretty much be it, really.
Nice.
So there you go, not bad for a raw beginner, not bad for an amateur, they might say. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, to be fair. I didn't need to wet form it because that handle's quite thin. These ones here, these handles are quite bulky. So what I'll do, I'll wet the sheath up and cover the knife and stick it in there and mould it around it, but this time I didn't really have to. So it's come with a few marks from where I got it from, and put a few marks in myself due to my inexperience. And yeah, but overall I'm pretty happy with that, very happy with it. It's come up really good. Yeah, simple little thing. Like I said, I won't put the beeswax on. I'll just put some waterproofing on it, and that'll be done. So that fits in there nice and tight. There's a bit of silicone on there to stop the things going on till it sort of wears in, and that fits in nice and tight, and it's all good. So I'm happy with that. So we'll do a little outro and call this big one a day and a wrap and all the rest of it. So there you have it. We've come to the end of another long video, but never mind. She's done and dusted. Another little cross carry. If you can see that down there in the video, just fits nicely on the belt. That'll be my new fishing knife, I think. Comes in and out quite tight, quite good. Won't fall out. Easy enough to stow away. I can put it there, get in the car, go from spot to spot. And yeah, if I'm going into a shop or anything where I don't want to carry a knife, I'll just take it out. And there we are. Flips over easy enough. So I'm happy with that little sheath. Worked out pretty well. Yeah, still a lot of room for improvement with my leather work, but it's all learning, and it's a good learning journey. I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, once you stop learning, things get a little boring, I guess. So yeah, having said that, I hope this video finds everybody safe and well. And yeah, hope you're enjoying what you're doing. And thanks for watching and getting this far. And yeah, time to go and ponder what's coming up next. The sun's about to rise, so I think I might go and work on my outdoor oven. But that's another story for another day. So anyway, thanks for watching again, and yeah, enjoy.